Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to a show where we are looking into the reasons for Everton's fantastic start to the season so far. 7 wins out of 7 in all competitions, full points in the Premier League, through to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup already. What a start to the season it's been. We'll start with Terry on this one. What would you say is the main reason for our upturn in form?
Carlo Ancelotti. I think the majority of the pieces have always been there. We've always had good players across the squad. Obviously weighed down by a lot of crap players as well, but not, we've now brought in that little bit extra to complete the. I don't want to say to complete the jigsaw, but the missing parts that we had to get things running smoothly. We needed that holding midfielder. We thought we had one with Gabaman, but then he got injured. So we've got Alan now. We could have been a lot better last season if Gabaman things had gone differently. We've got that creativity in James Rodriguez. We've got that bit of presence in Decore. Everything else around it has just clicked. Coleman looks like 5 years younger. Dean and Richarlison have always been quality. Like Michael Keane, I was a big critic of him. He's turned it round under Ancelotti. It's the manager. Having a top manager makes a hell of a difference. And you can tell that when you look around the other clubs who've got, let's be honest, better squads than us. Certainly, higher profile squads who aren't as good as we are at the minute. The Man Uniteds, the Chelseas, because they haven't got managers who are half as good. They have, put them two with, Lampard, not Solskjaer together. The two of them combined aren't half as good as Carlo Ancelotti. He's making Everton a force this season. How long it will last, how far that will go, who knows? I'm not being, I'm not jumping all over a good start and saying, we're in the title race and all that, because we're probably not. But we look at different sides. Just a couple of his players in the key areas that he's identified weaknesses in, and all the other pieces have suddenly, on Ultimate Team, where everything starts, all the chemistry starts joining up. It was like we just needed to slot those 1 or 2 players in, and all the lines have gone into the right colours. And that's all it needed. And only good managers can do that. You can look at Man United. I use them as the perfect example. They've got loads of good players, but none of the chemistry lines work because they haven't got a manager who can tie it together, and we have.
I think it's such a massive difference maker. Dan, what about you, mate? Have you got any more possible factors? I think there's one that we haven't touched on quite yet. I think you might bring it up.
Rodriguez?
Yeah, I thought it might be.
Yeah, I mean, he is the complete package of someone who we've been, someone who we've needed in how long since, I don't know, ever. He's 3 steps ahead of everyone. So he's like, I want you to give me the ball, you there, because I'm going to spread the ball about 30 yards that way, and he splits teams open like that. He's just absolutely class. But I think as well, as part of having a top class a manager, is the mentality. That's, for me, that's key. The mentality of a team it can go far, because you would have known last week we went to 1-1 under Marco Silva. You would have known, to have either drew it, lost it, what, you know what I mean? But having a top class manager goes a very long way, and it's starting to show now.
Yeah, I think that's a crucial element. I mean, it's always important. I think what was really telling for me was the Brighton game, when we had a few injuries, the squad was a bit depleted, and no matter who was on the pitch, they still turned up.
Yeah, and I think because they love the manager, they want to play for him, and he wouldn't want to play for, the Carlo Ancelotti, you know what I mean? Like, he is the best one in football, do you know what I mean? So, but it's also depth as well. We have squad depth now, do you know what I mean? So we had injuries against West Ham, and you're thinking, who we turning to here? And then they've all turned now. Sigurdsson's even starting to like turn up now. Do you know what I mean? So
Tom Davis turned up at right back.
and you're thinking they all want to play for him because they all respect him, and I've been reading his book as well. It's Carlo Ancelotti's book, and he says, and the main thing for me was how many times do fans turn on the manager after an heavy defeat, saying, "Get them into training the next day, get them into training and work them." And he says no in his book. He says no, you don't work it like that. What you do is that you don't dwell on a loss. Leave it now, it's gone. Just act as normal. And I'm thinking, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've read that in his book as well. Like the chairman and stuff, he has to often explain to like club owners, because club owners will say after a bad defeat they need to come in and you need to, you know, basically whip their ass for 2 days, and he'll go, no, I'm giving them 2 days off, because then when they come back, that defeat's well gone and they've got the back at it. And it's just little things like that. It's just the mentality that's why he's worked at so many top clubs, because the talent's always been there for him. It's just about the mentality and the man management, and he's applying that here, along with, you know, his expertise in bringing players in and setting up the team tactically. The tactics and the recruitment have never really been anything he's got credit for, because he's turned up at Real Madrid where they've got quality players, and they get the players bought for him. I think that's why he likes to be here, because he gets his hands fully into it here.
We saw what he was capable of in this way. I was saying this to Richard Hall yesterday. He did this at Parma in the late 90s and built Parma into an absolute force. I mean, we're talking obviously 20 years down the line now, but it looks as though he's trying to do something similar here.
Hope he does.
Yeah, I mean, Parma won the Winners' Cup, I think, didn't he? So with that boss team, with Buffon and everyone, Cannavaro and all that.
Been strange circumstances. I'm sure when he arrived, he couldn't predict that we'd have lockdown and, games behind closed doors. But I'm telling you, if he can get us into Europe, or especially win us a cup, then he's succeeded where every Everton manager in the past 20 years, 25 years has failed. Because good league finishes are one thing, but this club is not built on good league finishes. This club's built on trophies and success, and it's been too long. It needs to happen. And you're never, ever going to get a better manager to achieve that than this one, because he's got the track record.
He's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Like, see, I was out on Saturday and seeing the match and all that with my dad and my dad, and he's been there, done that, my dad, and he's seen a lot, you know what I mean? And he's like, this is what it was like in the 80s. You weren't scared of going into a match anymore. I know it's only been 4 games, but the difference of having him as a coach and you think, oh, wow, yeah, like, he just gets it, you know what I mean? He likes it here. He likes that Everton. He likes where he lives, and I think that goes like into a key part as well.
It's massive when you compare it to the likes of Ronald Koeman, who was constantly on the golf course in Cheshire.
Yeah, and he's got respect for the club, and because this is what it is, he loves how the club is a family-run club, and the passion and the ambition that we have, and that's what he likes about us. So if he likes us, then
we'll love him.
And we love him, and we'll go far. And don't forget, he's only 9 months into his contract, and now look what's happened. He's just transformed the team into an absolute powerhouse at the minute. And there's a lot more to come.
Let's hope so. And on the note of who else we've brought in, I think Decore's made a massive difference to this team. I always thought we were lacking in physicality in the midfield, and we've been crying out for a big presence in the middle of the park, and I think we've finally got someone who provides that in Decore.
I don't think I didn't think Decore would be as good as he has been defensively. I always imagined he'd just like be going forward but not contribute as much defensively. But for us so far,
like a Gravison type player.
Yeah, it's like the way I can describe it is it's Allen's like the Barry and Decore's like the McCarthy, isn't he? Like both defensive midfielders, but McCarthy, was got about the pitch a lot more. And actually, I tell a lie because Allen's not stationary, is he? He's just running. But that sort of dynamic where Decore will go forward a bit more than Allen, but the main thing they do is provide a platform for the rest of the team. So now Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, they were scoring last season with training cones behind them in midfield. And now they've got competent midfielders with a base to work from. They're scoring for fun. Like Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, obviously James Rodriguez, Luca Dean, even Coleman. They're all got a new lease of life because they know they've got their bases covered now. Whereas last season,
we didn't have a defensive midfielder
at all. Gomez looked terrible because he's in a role that just can't play. Sigurdsson looked terrible, same reason. Davies looked terrible, same reason. Now they're in a 3-man midfield with better defensive players around them. It's allowing them to play their game a lot more.
We're definitely seeing the rewards for that. I think that's an interesting point, is that we talk about the McCarthy-Barry axis under Martinez, but even that, we've got two dynamic players there. Allen's a lot less stationary than Barry, while Decore does a lot of the McCarthy work. That's a lot more energy around the midfield than we even had back then. And that's crucial to a successful team. I think nowadays, you look at the Liverpools and Man Cities, they've always got like bundles of energy in the middle of the park.
Well, we've got a middle three, whereas back then it was a middle, double pivot. It's, two players. Middle three is a lot different. We've never, as far as I can remember, played a 4-3-3 at Everton. Like, I've wanted us to for Yonks. I didn't think we would do. I thought he was married to the 4-4-2, so it's been a nice surprise. But whereas Barkley used to float off the striker in the 4-2-3-1, now Gomez is part of the middle three, and the ones who float off the strikers are the two wide players, so they stay high up the pitch. And when you've got players like James Rodriguez who are that cut above in class, you can always hurt someone, because the second we get out of, we transition from defence, instead of, back when we had Martinez, we'd have to, look for Barkley to spray it wide to find Lukaku on the break. We're just literally going from defence straight to James, who releases either Dean or he releases Richarlison, who then puts it in for Calvert-Lewin. Like, it's a lot quicker and a lot less, has to go through a lot less players.
It's a lot less ponderous, which is what Martinez's football often became notorious for.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a really good balance in the team. And as long as we can keep this 11 fit, I think we're on to be in the mix this season, because we've got a very good team. And as long as we're able to play that team, I think we'll give anyone a game.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a great way to finish it. We'll give anyone a game. So, on to the derby. Fingers crossed. So there you have it, guys. Let us know how you're feeling going into a derby. You're a bit more positive for once. You're still a bit sceptical, I think it's normal to always be a bit, iffy going into these games, but surely we've got to be a bit more optimistic this time. Let us know your opinions either way. Drop us a comment below. Give this video a like. Subscribe for more content. And thank you guys for watching on the Toffee Blues.